Hello and welcome to another interesting episode of the Reflection series. In this series, we share stories that recharge and rejuvenate us. And today we have with us Fran Fitzgerald. Fran has been practicing and teaching Raj Yoga meditation for more than 35 years. She has a background working in human resources. Fran is passionate about self-change and positive reflection. And aptly, the title today is It's All About Being Positive. Today, Fran shares a very inspiring story about how positive thinking and choosing to be more optimistic can change your outlook and your perspective towards life's challenges. So let's hear from Fran what happened and how did things change. So without any further ado, a very hearty welcome, Fran, and it's over to you.
Thank you, Lata, for that lovely introduction. When I was asked to give a story or, be a part of these wonderful reflection series, the first thing I started to think about was my own personal journey to positive thinking. And when I was younger, I felt like I had a bit of a dark cloud around me, and I had to work very hard to change my attitude and focus on things. But when I started to think about a story that would best reflect my feeling of what being really optimistic and positive can do in your life on a very practical level, I keep thinking of my nephew, Matthew. So I come from a family of 7 brothers and sisters, and Matthew is the eldest of my brother's son. And when Matt was 29, he got diagnosed with chondrosarcoma. This was in 2017. And what that is, it's a type of bone cancer that impacts the cartilage. And for him, it was in his hip. So he had a couple of operations, and one of them, unfortunately, it kept coming back. And one of them resulted in a hip replacement. And then he's had so far about 8 operations, and they all accumulated, I guess, to the most significant operation back in 2021, where he had to get a hind quarter amputation. So what that is that basically his entire right leg and his buttocks, pelvis area was amputated, and he also had to have these bags as well to help him with his bodily functions. So huge change for such a young man. He was only 25, around about that age at the time. And I think he might have been around 30 actually when he ended up having the operation. And it was really extremely significant. There was a good chance that he wouldn't make it. But the alternative was to live a life, well, he wouldn't live a very long life, but the life that he was living was very painful, with a lot of extremely strong medications. So he decided to have the operation. The operation was extremely technical and took 16 hours. 3 teams of surgeons and nurses and anesthesiasts and all these sorts of people to help him through this journey to have this extraordinarily risky and rare procedure done. just before the operation, he really had this thought to himself, okay, I want to live. He had a very, very strong thought that this is what I want to do. I want to get through this and I still want to live my life. And so for myself as a meditator, so I've been meditating for a number of years, and it helped me personally a great deal in my own personal journey, and also it helped me process and come to terms with what was happening to my lovely nephew. I told a couple of friends of mine about what was happening, and I've never really experienced anything quite like it. Everyone was part of we were doing a bit of a healing circle, and this was probably in the beginning stages of COVID. So lots of things like this were happening in terms of people coming together online. And so we all were on over Zoom once a week, and they all just rallied around, even though they'd never met him, and felt such a strong pull to have some regular meditation for him. It was quite extraordinary, really. And the meditations were very powerful and very focused on him. And people were saying they felt like they knew him, even though they'd never met him before. And it really didn't feel like it had anything to do with me either. It was just his personality, what you can sort of intuit about people, just captured their hearts, and they were incredibly supportive, and there was some really significant meditation that was going on for him. In February 21 is when he had the operation. And for me, I knew it was going to be happening that day. And so I set aside some time and I was with some friends. And when the operation was actually taking place, it was such an extraordinarily powerful moment. I felt like there was a portal, if you like. It's the only way I can describe it, into the operating room. And there was just this power of silence that was being pumped into the room. It was palpable. It was not your imagination. It was happening. And so the entire time of this 16 hours of this extraordinary operation, I was feeling, there was all these other, I was feeling so supported and doing a lot of meditation, and but also feeling very optimistic, I suppose, that he would make his way through it. He did make his way through the operation, and thus started the very long journey, as you can only imagine, of healing and rehabilitation. Right throughout the rehabilitation process, he maintained his sense of humour and his optimism. He's very close to his brother and sister, and every photo that I saw was them rallying around him, smiling, being happy, and really sharing in the healing energy of optimism and moving forward. When things happen in life, you can either look at them. Sometimes significant moments happen, and either you're going to go down the rabbit hole of a dark space, or you're going to choose to climb the stairs of being optimistic, of being courageous, of making it a personal choice that you are going to do everything in your power to make your way through this. And ultimately, whatever happens on the other end, knowing that you've tried your hardest, you've done everything you can, and there's no more that you can do. And this is what Matt did. He took it one step at a time. He was an inspiration for all of us. And when I've seen people in these situations, the thing that really occurs to me is how the person involved plays such a significant role in how other people respond to it. So his enormous courage and desire to succeed and to heal inspired us. And so therefore we were also optimistic, and we were also supporting him in that way. There was no sense of hopelessness. We were always very, very hopeful. And I think that his headspace and personal motivation inspired us to think that way. So therefore, he was getting those additional vibrations from us just because of how we were thinking about it, and we were taking his lead. So over a period of quite a long period of time, he could use crutches, but obviously wheelchair was easier to get around. Incredibly painful, but his mother was caring for him, and through the journey of rehabilitation, he eventually got to a point where he could start to think about returning to work. So Matt works in IT, which was lucky. So throughout COVID, Zoom became the new gateway to working. And I would also say this is a, significant of the sort of person he was or he is, that his work kept his job open for him. They were incredibly supportive, gave him his job back, and he was able to start working. He got a promotion, managing people, and really doing very, very well for himself in work. He had a couple of rooms set aside at his family home. He was living with his mum and dad, who were also obviously incredibly supportive and, doing very well. Then one day he did realise that he was starting to put on a lot of weight, as you can imagine, not being very physically active. And so then he was listening to a podcast, and the podcast was all about this, someone else in a similar sort of situation, I think, because when you're involved in this type of a life-altering experience, you seek out other people who perhaps have had similar experiences, which is what he did. And the person effectively was saying, you can either go two ways. You can either fall into a heap and just put on a lot of weight and sort of waste in your chair, or you can do something about it. And so, as is his nature, he decided to do something about it. He got a physio. That physio, once again, I can only imagine she must have been really inspired and motivated by his desire to be the best he can in this situation. And so she encouraged him and helped him. Rehabilitation. His mum put some weights and rings that he could do push-ups in the backyard and inside. He got a really good wheelchair from NDIS where it was like a bit of a four-wheel drive, if you like. So he'd be going out and does these amazing wheelchair rides with his mum. She rides the bike next to him. He uses the parallel bars. He can do 10 squats up and down. I've seen it. It's extraordinary. He looks amazingly fit and healthy, I can tell you, and very, very strong. And so this is what he's been doing. And then work one day said, because he didn't get into work much and predominantly was on Zoom, they were doing a sort of like a group workshop where you sort of say, what's your work-life balance like, how you're enjoying work, and how you would rate your life. And so he did it, and my sister-in-law was telling me that he said he would rate his work life a 8 or 9 out of 10, and his life in general a 9 out of 10, his home life a 9 out of 10, which brought a tear to my eye, because I just think it's just quite amazing that someone through all the odds of anything happening to them, comes out the other end, not only excelling in his career, but also on an emotional level, on a physical level, and on a mental level, really moving forward and making the most out of the situation. And in fact, I would say growing tremendously from what was happening to him. And I believe that it really does all come down to choice. You have a choice in your life over what you want to do and how you want to be. And no matter how many people are, no matter how close someone may be to you, ultimately you're the only one that's in your mind. And your mind is your sacred space. It's it's the epicenter of your being. And it's the blank canvas for every day, every second of your life. So the thoughts that we have, the vibration that I emit, the courage that I have to, keep on keeping on, to, that saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again. None of us are 100% positive all the time, and things do get to us and we are challenged in life. But as long as my motivation, my goal, my ultimate goal is to be happy, to find solutions, to live a life of a glass half full rather than half empty, because it's easy to live a life with a glass half empty, especially in this day and age. So it's up to us to put our personal boundaries of what we will and what we won't let in our mind, and to take care of our mind, to take care of that space, to take care of my own inner being and my mental health, which is crucial, because by doing that, it makes us resilient. And through Matthew's headspace, it allowed him to travel through 8 major surgeries, 1 life-threatening surgery, and to come out the other end. And so I will leave my story there to be continued. And thank you. Over to you, Lata.
Wow, what an incredible story, Fran.
Yeah.
Really, really inspiring.
Mm.
And it just takes you to a different level of thinking.
It
On a
does.
day-to-day basis, we are like, we may be so negative about things sometimes and feel, oh, I don't have this and I don't have that. But hearing someone's life story and the outcome, the positive outcome that has come out of it, it's like unbelievable and really something to learn from.
And I must also share with you that I did, seek his permission to talk about this. And he did say to me that he's recently had a scan, and unfortunately it has come back, the cancer. And however, he said that he is still very optimistic. He said that it's a minor operation compared to the top 5 that he's had in his life. He's 36 years old now, and he's still just saying, I'm recovery focused, I'm motivation focused. Obviously it's not easy, but he's on that journey. And once again, he's just inspiring and motivating with whatever he does. So, and that inspires, and that is tremendously inspiring for me too. So absolutely. Yeah, it makes you reflect. It really does.
Yes. Wow. Yeah,
It leaves you speechless, doesn't it?
Speechless, yes, I am. Just taken aback.
Yeah, it really does. It's speechless.
Yes. So maybe I will request you to lead us into a meditation commentary, just get that experience of silence and going into going within.
Yes, thank you. So, taking some long, deep breaths, getting comfortable, centering yourself. If you'd like to have your eyes gently open, you're welcome. You can rest your gaze on the lovely flower or on the gentle blue background of the screen, or you're also welcome just to close down your eyes, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. And as we start to relax the body, long, deep, healing breaths with the intention of peace, with an intention of inner calm and inner quiet. As my thoughts start to slow down, I become aware that peace and silence very naturally occur in those spaces. The vibration of peace is at the center of my being. The vibration of peace gives me inner power. It takes me from the limited immediacy of life into the unlimited. So when we give our mind some space, it helps us to see things as they really are. And often what will happen is we will find solutions. We will find an inner power that I didn't realize I had. It's very important to take some time out every day for my mental health and well-being. It allows me a moment to connect with myself, to sit with myself, and to get to know myself. This journey of inner peace is a journey of self-reflection and self-discovery. And the more I walk on this journey, the more empowered I will become. And as we close this meditation commentary, I invite you to reconnect with your breath once again. And I encourage you to actively seek time to sit and just be. To reflect on how you would like your life to be. And that with the power of your thought, you're taking the first steps to achieve that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fran, for that beautiful experience. Definitely something to think about, reflect about, and decide the direction we want to go. So thank you very, very much for sharing that story with us. And thank you for our viewers as well.